To this story now, the ANC and the DA are continuing their court battle over the Tshwane mayorship. Mayor Stevens Mokgalapa and Council Speaker Katlego Mathebe were booted out earlier this month in a vote of no confidence, the DA challenging that removal, and the decision was set aside for now. Both parties have been presenting arguments in the High Court in Pretoria. It's just adjourned. Masego Rahlaga is following the story for us. She joins us now live. So both parties are not backing down. Masego?
Well, exactly, Shahan. None of the parties that are involved in these two cases, remember now there's two cases because the first interdict was actually the DA saying that they want to challenge the resolutions of that council meeting that happened on the 5th of December. That interdict was granted. On Tuesday, when the case was supposed to be heard here in the High Court, they brought new papers, that's the DA, and the new papers then involved the acting mayor and the acting speaker, which the ANC and the EFF say they have no problem with. They actually just want to remove the mayor and the actual speaker themselves. But I am with the ANC regional chairperson in this province, and so how's the ANC's feeling after today's proceedings? Are you still feeling positive? Do you feel as though your legal representatives did a good job today?
We as the ANC want to commend highly our legal representatives. They have done very well. They have showed this court that the DA's case is limping from one scandal to the next. The DA started with a founding affidavit with somebody without local standing. Now she has done hearsay. On the second response application, they have brought somebody else. It was Christian Bosch, now it's Mr. Christopher Niefer. The DA has really failed to prove this court the agency of the matter. We have argued very well. What we don't understand is that the DA doesn't have majority support in council, but they are using courts to stay in power. We don't know, maybe it's the salary next week that they are looking for, but we don't know really what the DA is fighting for, because they no longer had support. If there's a council tomorrow, they will still be voted out. The DA doesn't really have majority in this city. The DA never won elections. This city can only be run by a multi-party arrangement. They know that nobody won elections in this city, and now we are saying as the African National Congress that the DA must allow democracy to thrive. They can't run to courts and ask for suspension of resolutions that were taken fairly and legally, that are very valid. The DA has used courts as a lawfare to protect themselves. South Africans have seen the DA for what it really is. The DA is an organization that uses all means to protect themselves, to continue with corruption. I mean, there's a Let Africa corruption that is not resolved. There is corruption of Oricon of 18 billion, 12 billion of Let Africa. There's in excess of 30 billion that they are protecting. They are protecting. What we know that they are protecting is for us to come out with those cases and make that we follow up on them. But they are not going to protect forever. A judgment must come sooner rather than later. We are going to have a decision. They are going to be removed, and we are going to go after them. We are not going to leave the DA. They have done it with many people. They have lied since 2016. You would remember in 2016, Solim Simanga flagged the report saying that people will have orange overalls. He was unceremoniously removed by the DA itself. Nothing has happened. Mashaba said it in Johannesburg. Nothing has happened. We are telling you now that we are going to go after the DA and they're going to pay the highest price.
What about their argument that that council sitting actually was unlawful? What do you say to that?
The judge has said that the council sitting was lawful.
And lastly, your main argument was that they shouldn't have actually run to the court. It's premature. Just explain that to our viewers.
There is nothing premature about that. When you don't like something that happened at council, Rule 14 of our rules and orders allows you to bring another resolution in the next meeting and say, I did not like that removal of Mokgalapa. Can we vote again? Maybe people did not vote right. That's what we are saying. The DA, if they want to change anything, they must go to council, and there is democracy in this country. They will be allowed to bring a motion. Unlike them, we will allow motions of no confidence. The DA has refused all the motions of no confidence, but where themselves, you'll remember that they put 7 motions of no confidence against President Zuma, and the ANC allowed all of them. The speaker came from the ANC, but she became fair. She allowed all the motions. They lost all of them. They never allowed one motion in Tshwane. We had put motions on Solim Simanga. They whiskered him away because they didn't want him to answer for Let Africa. We want to put motions against the lack of water in Hammanskraal on Mokgalapa. What they want to do, you will see that before next council in January, the DA will have whisked away Mokgalapa because they don't have confidence in him themselves, because he's disgraced.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Shahan, I'm just going to take you to the acting mayor of the city of Tshwane. He's of the DA, Ndate Abel Dau. Ndate Dau, I'm sure you've heard what Ndate Mayepa was saying this whole time. What's your response?
Look, it is a smokescreen, and obviously big words that mean absolutely nothing to the people of Tshwane. Firstly, we welcome the judgment and the extension of the interim order. I think it is correct for the judge to continue and say, let order and prevail in Tshwane. But over and above that, yes, we will abide by the court's ruling, because we are a party that's big on the rule of law. And that's why when they went on to be violent, we kept our cool and we knew we could go to court, because the courts of this country have been what stood between us and total onslaught to our democracy by people who are unscrupulous and do whatever it takes to take over the country at whatever means possible. I mean, it is shameful that you would come in here and have the ANC, who are supposed to be the custodians of a moral high ground, coming in to say there was no violence because there was no blood on the floor. In a country where we are dealing with the highest murder rates, one of the highest murder rates in the world, of a country that is not in war, where you are dealing with issues of femicide and violence, very, very violent crimes that are happening in our country. And it's precisely because of this kind of leadership. And I hope South Africans realize what we are dealing with, because if we cannot stand up and stand between these people and the power that they want to annex, imagine what this country would be like.
My other question is about the fact that whether the court goes left or right in this instance, the ANC and the EFF will still bring back a motion against the DA. What are you going to do about this? Because it looks to a lot of people that the DA will lose the capital anyway.
No, look, council appoints mayors, and council obviously removes mayors. Now, council is not ANC, it's the 214 members of council.
But the EFF is voting with the ANC.
Yes, absolutely, and we have seen many a times, because at the end of the day, these representatives also have a conscience, and they understand that they are there having been elected by the masses on the ground to represent their aspirations. And one thing that they all know is that they themselves have the confidence in all of us in making sure that we run this city. And I can tell you now that it is the desire and the desperation of few individuals who want to put their fingers into the cookie jar, who are driving this agenda of trying to remove a government that inherited a country, on a capital city, on its knees. And in 1 year we turned a 1 billion rand deficit into 735 million rand of a surplus. We went to Hammanskraal when they were trying to kill the people of Hammanskraal by poisoning them for many, many years. In 2011, the ANC government said the water in Hammanskraal has reached disaster status. And they continued by 2013 to put monies in their pockets and not invested in the infrastructure that should have assisted the people of Hammanskraal. And when we started doing something about the situation of water in Hammanskraal, they are so cruel that they want us to stop. They want to stop us in our tracks, that we should not assist the people of Hammanskraal. We've just been having rolling blackouts. You've seen Kwagga Center burning down because they cannot even keep the lights on. And every time the power goes off, the infrastructure in Tshwane that they couldn't maintain continues to fail at an alarming rate. And we cannot allow. We will stand between the city of Tshwane, its citizens, the country, and the people who want to bring this capital city to its knees.
Thank you very much. I'll see you soon when we return to court. Well, Shahan,